So we tackled the Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan thing, and I wanted to give you a perspective of a player's approach and a coach's approach and try to understand what Scotty was actually saying. I had to be his publicist, but at the same time, you know, on my show, there will be no Jordan bashing. But I actually had to listen to what Scotty was saying. And aside from him saying that Michael was a horrible player and he was one-on-one and he was taking bad shots and stuff like that, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Because actually he was right, okay? But we tackled that. Now, he also said something pretty interesting. He talked about how LeBron James is going to be number one in all statistical categories. Actually, let's look at their career accolades for a second. All right, so obviously Michael 6 for 6 in the finals. He's got the 5 MVPs. He's got the 10 scoring titles there, the dunk contests, and 3-time steal leader, whatever. I don't know if you can see LeBron stuff. My big head is in the way here. 4 champs, 4 MVPs, 4 league MVPs, 1 scoring title, assist leader. Okay, when I look at this, what sticks out to me the most, now remember, when you're comparing players, no matter what era it is, it's about what you value as a player, coach, or understander of the game. Defensive player of the year. Oh, they don't have that over here. I don't see that. That's the first thing that stuck out to me. Smaller player, didn't weigh more than 215 pounds his entire career. LeBron, way more athletic, whatever. The comparisons are there. But as a coach, as a player, a teammate of basketball, you want to see this more than you want to see this. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. It's quality over quantity. You can make the argument that LeBron James stayed in the league longer and this, that, and the other. Let me tell you this. Let me just be 100% honest with you. We can skip to the next slide too. Here's another stat for you people out there like Scottie Pippen who wanted to talk about numbers. I had to Google this myself, and you guys can go out and do it also. I had to Google players in NBA history with the most turnovers. Okay, so along with LeBron having the most points scored ever, and then also being top 10 on the list of assists and all these other things, LeBron James is number 1 in turnovers, people. Karl Malone had that honor first, but LeBron just surpassed him, I want to say either this year or last year, and he did it in less games. Now I'm not gonna get on him too much about that because again, I got to give it to you from a coach's perspective. The coach's perspective is, you know what? LeBron James is a pass first player. He's trying to make plays. This makes sense. In an attempt to make plays, you're gonna make mistakes. And over the span of 20 some odd years, that number is gonna continue to increase. So I understand that, but if we're gonna talk numbers, we can't let them all slide. We have to talk about everything. Who else is on this list? So if you were gonna compare LeBron James and Karl Malone in this situation, just to break it down for you a little bit more, there's no reason for Karl Malone to be on this list. You're not a playmaker. But just think about it. Most of the time, if he got these turnovers, and we're probably gonna have to have another show where I'll just show these turnovers happening, but most of them probably came from bobbling the ball out of bounds. Unforced errors is what we call them in basketball as a coach. Look at these idiots on here. Russell Westbrook. Now, Stockton and Malone were teammates. That's even more terrible, right? But I'm just talking about numbers that mean something to coaches. It's called assists to turnover ratio. So, Scotty, when you're talking about numbers and you're trying to talk about Michael Jordan, don't forget about your boy being at the top of this list. Look at this here. Now, a lot of people like to say, well, yeah, LeBron went to the finals and lost but he's been there more times than Michael. I'll give you that. But you have to understand the dynamics behind that. If you play 19 or 20 years, you should, and if you're a dominant player, you should be in the finals more often than not. I'm not knocking him for that. But when you start to compare legacies, I'm going to choose quality over quantity. 6 for 6, Michael Jordan. So in Michael's 11th season, and this isn't the full season, this is just the 11th season of Michael, and it took LeBron 15 seasons to do these things. So in 734 games, now mind you, Michael Jordan broke his foot in his sophomore year and missed 64 games. So that makes LeBron even look even worse on this list, because if you do the math, you'll add 64 games, because Michael wasn't missing no games. They couldn't even keep him on the bench when he broke his foot. They couldn't keep him from stopping playing. Remember that part of the documentary? He convinced the Bulls into letting him go back to college, and then he ended up playing, and he wasn't supposed to be playing. But he loved the game so much because that's where his energy was. That's what drove him. Basketball drove him. You can make the argument that him being an overall great player, like how I always praise him to be, overall great player, he's gonna make first team All-NBA. Okay, that's hands down. But what's more important than that? It's quality over quantity is what I look at here. I'd rather get 3 out of 3 than 3 out of 8. The numbers are there, they don't lie. I don't know. What do we got next?